Hello, I'm Bernie Graham at the Golden Valley Honeywell facility. This is our application lab, and we have a furnace here today that we're going to do a gas valve exchange on. So the first thing you do when you start in the work is to turn the gas off. So by law there has to be a ball valve fairly close to the furnace, and you're going to turn that off, and you're going to turn the power off. And now you can go in here and be comfortable that it's not going to start. So there typically is a union that you can loosen, and then it will allow you to remove the valve. And some of the gas valves you can rotate right in place and replace them there. But this one has some clearance issues, and we're going to have to pull the manifold off and go onto a bench to change it. There's just 4 screws that we'll need to remove to get this whole assembly off. So that's what we're going to do in this particular case. So now I'm going to loosen the union, and we'll get this gas valve off. And we'll pull the wires off the gas valve. Now we're going to get a wrench and just a nut driver and pull the manifold assembly with the gas valve. Out. Now, one of the things I want to do is get a replacement gas valve in the same orientation, and I'm just going to take a magic marker, and I'll have this on a flat surface, and we will put ours in the same orientation. Take ours out of the box. In this case, we've got a VR8345M. At the bottom, you'll see the arrow. That arrow is for gas flow. The gas comes in the union, through the gas valve, into the manifold. So I line up ours, and ours will be in this orientation. So a little black mark I made with magic marker. I want this rotated up to about there. It'll just save me a trip or two to the. If my vise was back on the truck, I'd have to do a little more walking if I didn't check that first. So back in the vise, and we are going to do a couple of things. We're going to pull this piece out, and so we can reuse the end, and then we'll take off the gas valve. And now the gas valve. Typically, you would be told to always grasp the gas valve closest to the pipe threads that you're removing. In this case, the company who made this didn't put any machine fittings there, so we don't have any choice but to go up here. The reason you do that is to avoid sending torque through the whole body of the valve. Set this guy aside. And so we're going to the instructions, and this particular gas valve has got fittings for 3/4 inch pipe, and this unit is a 1/2 inch, so we have to convert down to a 1/2 inch, and Honeywell has included some threaded bushings that are going to allow us to do that. Also included in here is a little brass fitting. If this gas valve was for an intermittent pilot light situation, which it's universal, it will handle that, then you would also be replacing the pilot assembly. This is a brand new fitting so that you can come in fresh and clean with the new pilot light tube. We want to put on some pipe compound on the threads to help seal. And we've got a little picture in here that shows you how to do that. And you want to leave the first 2 threads dry. So you just want to put it on the back, several threads. And if you see that, the first couple are dry. We're going to need to do that both in the front and the back, both the inlet and the outlet of the valve. We will put some more pipe compound on the manifold. Again, we're going to leave those first couple of threads dry. So we're going to look at our orientation. Again, we've got the arrow. That's going to point the direction of gas flow. So we know that is the side it's going to go down. I'm looking for the magic marker. And we have a mark here. And I'm going to orientate that. And we're going to use our parallel-sided wrenches to rotate this into position. Our gas valve is a little shorter than the original, so we're going to have to put on a longer pipe, about a half an inch longer. So on these short lengths, that's pretty much a standard off-the-shelf product, so we just go out to the truck and get one of those if it happens to be shorter, such as it is in our case. So I'm going to take the union off. We will reuse that. And we'll take our new piece of pipe again. And our threads, we're going to pipe compound, reinstall our union. That into the valve. Again, we're going to install pipe compound. And we'll tighten this up. Okay, we're ready to install this in the furnace. I want to stop for a moment and talk about the LP gas conversion. Now, this gas valve can work in natural gas or LP applications. So we include a conversion kit for those installations that are running on an LP gas. And you get a little instruction set and a spring, an adjustment screw, and a new cap to go over the adjustment port. So right here's a slotted screwdriver cap, and you get a new one with the kit. And underneath there will be a plastic adjustment screw. You can use a Torx wrench or a slotted screwdriver. And you're going to take out the existing one, and underneath that there'll be a spring. You're going to throw those away and drop in the new ones that are 4LP. And this is covered in the instruction sheet, and you'll be told to screw down the screw for a starting position of a certain number of turns, and that would allow you to get started, and you'll make your final adjustment when you've got the gas valve back on the furnace. Okay, for now we're going to go in and I'll put it in, and then we're going to put in our port to allow us to take a gas valve pressure reading, and just to make sure that everything is proper. So we're back in, and we're going to tighten up our union again. Now we've got two things to do. We're going to put our port in, and there's several different types available. This is one we'll use, and it will allow us to take our digital manometer and we'll plug it in, and we'll be able to take a reading. So we'll pull out this Allen head screw. And we're doing this before we turn the gas back on. It's very important when gas leaks. And we're going to keep this fitting because we're going to put it back in when we're done. And this is going to allow us to check the outlet pressure, and we can adjust it if necessary. Turn our meter on. Just going to warm up and then we'll zero it. We've got to hook up the wiring on the gas valve, and we get this particular unit has got direct spark, and we have the wiring harness for that style. Now this plug only goes in one way. Now it doesn't matter. We have two wires to plug in there. It doesn't matter which side those two wires go on. Okay, after we get the gas valve in, we've got to check for leaks. And we can check the inlet portion before the gas valve is running, and we have to check the outlet after we turn it on. But I'll turn the gas on. Certainly you listen for leaks. If you totally missed a connection, it's going to start making noise. But we'll put our soap water solution on the connections that we changed, and we're looking for any bubbles. Now if there were any bubbles, we would have to stop, fix that leak, and then continue on from there. We are looking good. There are also electronic that do the same job, and you turn them on and they'll start clicking, and you go around and you would sniff each joint for a gas leak, and in this case natural gas rises, so you'd go above the fitting. If you had LP, that will sink, you'd go below the fitting, and you look for any gas leaks there. Now I'm going to go over to the thermostat and we'll issue a call for heat, and we'll get this going. I've got to turn the power back on, and we'll issue a call for heat. We'll watch the light off. Okay, I've set the temperature way above room temperature, so we should start up in a couple minutes. And we can watch the process here. Now we did break the gas line. It's very common. It might take 2 or 3 attempts to start, because you've got to purge that air out of the system. And most furnaces will allow you to try 2 to 4 times. And failing that, there's typically a lockout for a certain amount of time, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and it'll try again. If you do get locked out, all you need to do is turn the power off, wait a few seconds and turn it on, and it'll start the cycle again. This is the pre-purge time. The furnace happens every time that this thing operates. Purges any spent gas that's in the lines. You can see the HSI, the hot surface igniter, glowing, and that'll have a certain number of seconds it stays on. Eventually the gas valve will be turned on. Okay, and the lid off. Though I forgot to mention that you do have to turn, these have an off and on position. And if I turn this off, if I installed it in the off position, it's not going to light. They are shipped from the factory in the on position. So I'm looking at the pressure setting. In this case, it is all right, but if it wasn't, I would take a reading and remove the adjustment screw here. I could go in and adjust the pressure up or down as required to get to the manufacturer's specification. Typically that's listed on the rating plate right on the furnace. I'm happy with my pressure setting. This back in. Now we can, basically what I'm doing is I'm going to turn off the call for heat and have it go off by itself, and then we've got to remove our pressure tap. So the first should respond in a second or two. Call for heat will be satisfied, and then we can turn off the gas and go in and pull out our tap. Okay, the furnace satisfied the call for heat. We'll turn off our gas. We'll pull out our line and remove our fitting. Now I'm going to go over to the thermostat and we'll issue a call for heat, and we'll get this going. I've got to turn the power back on, and we'll issue a call for heat. We'll watch the light off, and then we can check that final outlet connection. So the furnace is going through its normal startup process. We've got a pre-purge to prevent any stale gas out of the system, and shortly the HSI will turn on. That'll blow, and when that's warm, the gas valve will turn on, the gas will flow in, and we'll have ignition. So our hot surface igniter is glowing now. It's right in front of this port, and shortly the system will turn on the gas. Okay, now we're going to check this last connection. And we don't have any bubbles, so leak test is good, and we can go on and button up this furnace.